time of recording this is the evening, like a little after 9 o'clock on Sunday, September 1st. Obviously, if you're seeing this now, this is a first time we've done this in a while. Mulleting Monday for Detroit City Sportscast. Garrett here. Hope that all went well on this Labor Day weekend, and the time of when this will air, it should be airing on Labor Day. Just wanted to provide a brief little video note to kind of go over just real quick what's been going on lately with the Detroit sports teams. This weekend, Tigers coming up for the Lions. What went within Detroit City? Brief notes of Michigan State as well. So, main thing, first thing, obviously we got to talk about here this evening. Detroit Tigers. So when Adam and I got together Thursday night, they just ended their series with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, taking 2-3, losing the last game of that series. Took on the Boston Red Sox, a team ahead of them in the wild card race. First game of the series didn't exactly go in the Tigers' favor, but a big pitching performance last night on Saturday night by Tarek Skubal. 2-1 win on Saturday, a 4-1 win today. The bullpen coming up clutch. Home runs by Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green. The Tigers take another series against the Boston Red Sox. I think it's something that's just incredibly impressive when you look at the fact that this team is 14-5, their last 19. At the time of dropping this out, they are sitting 5 back in the AL wildcard race. But plenty of things to look forward to, plenty of series opportunities when you realize into the perspective of that they still have to play a series with the Kansas City Royals, who have lost their last 4. You got to take the Baltimore Orioles home and away series. They're leading the wild card. You have a series with your last 2 series are at home versus the Tampa Bay Rays, and the say bottom feeder is an understatement, but the Chicago White Sox to end the regular season. And then you have teams around you. The White Sox have to, the Royals take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Red Sox have to go to a New York Mets, who are fighting for a wild card spot. The Tigers have a difficult series to start the week. They got to go to San Diego to take on the Padres, who are in the top 2 in a wild card, but then are at Oakland against the A's, their final series at Alameda Coliseum. So this will be a big 3 games, big week for Tigers baseball. But right now, this is the fact that we're in a playoff race going into the last month of the regular season is really exciting. And when you also account that the potential of, if the Tigers somehow continue this wild run that they're on and somehow get into the playoffs, when you also account that if this happens, you have the potential for a Tigers team getting into the playoffs around the time that Lions football is thick and full. So, for example, the Tigers' last regular season series is home to their White Sox. That game is on September 29th. The following day is the Lions' Monday night game versus the Seattle Seahawks. You have a Detroit City season going in the last month. They're in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference for fighting for a home playoff spot. You get the Detroit Red Wings starting their regular season up. Shortly after that, and eventually, you have the Pistons, but the Pistons are also going to be, you would think, somewhat better than what they were obviously the last 2 years. So this is a wild time for Detroit sports in general. So I think it's still early to say if this team's going to do it or not. But when you look at where this team was at a couple of weeks ago versus where they're at now, it's going to be fun. So well done to all the boys. Keep the run going. If they can, this final month of the season is going to be entertaining. Starts with the San Diego Padres series. It begins tomorrow. Games on tomorrow, and then Wednesday and Thursday before 3 at Oakland against the A's, and then back home the following week. Moving to the Lions. We are 7 days away at the time of recording this from the start of the NFL season. The Lions home to the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. I'm amped. I'm pumped. No really big special previews on there other than the fact that we did the Sickless Fantasy Draft today. So Jameer Gibbs was available for me in round 2. Let's go. But yeah, that's Sunday night on NBC and Peacock. 8:20, I think, is kickoff. So forward down the field. We'll be seeing a lot of the daily videos for that come back in as that season starts. So obviously more Lions stuff as the games kick in and we start to see some more developments. Moving real quick to Detroit City, back home last night, took on Hartford Athletic in a big game, fell behind early. I forget his first name, but Deane for Hartford Athletic, who had a brace in the win against Louisville last week. I made it 1-0. But then Laurent Kasiedu, Detroit City's newest loan acquisition, showed just how much of a spark I think he's going to be for this squad. Great little 1-2 with Maxi Rodriguez, and then creates a run, goes on this long solo run before feeding it to Ben Morris, who gets the goal, his 7th of the season, which is already one more than he did last season, and also selfishly fulfills means that I win my bet with my Channel 451 Hermano Jaime Ventura, who owes me another Del Taco meal. So thank you, Ben Morris, for that. A game that ended up 1-1 thanks to Carlos Saldana, who stepped up and made a huge saves during that match, including near the final minutes of that. So Detroit City are still in 4th place in the Eastern Conference at home. They are 2 points ahead of Indy 11, who somehow drew with a late free kick against Pittsburgh Riverhounds, 3 points clear of the Birmingham Legion, but now only 1 point ahead Rhode Island, who Rhode Island with their 2-0 win over Birmingham Legion jumped into 5th. So City have a game against bottoms in the West, El Paso on the road next Saturday, but you know that is no such thing as a guarantee games yet in the USL Championship for the most part. You know, every game could be a little bit difficult one way or another. So this is a big opportunity, though. These games are needed to be wins, especially with New Mexico and Louisville beating City's next opponents at Keyworth the following weekend. So, but a solid point for Detroit City yesterday as they get into the final 8 of the regular season, a season that's moving fast. Detroit Red Wings, now it's 15 regular season games will be on national television for their season starting in October. I really don't have anything else that I have for that, but you know, it's important, I feel like, to talk regardless of this being a Detroit sportscasting. Woke up Friday morning to the absolute tragic news that took place in New Jersey Thursday night. Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau is, you know, we've known Red Wings fans, to play with the Calgary Flames and the Columbus Blue Jackets, one of the younger shining talents of the National Hockey League. Tragically, both Johnny and Matt lost their lives Thursday night on their bikes. Drunk driver trying to swerve around traffic, unfortunately collided with them, taking both of them. Johnny Gaudreau gone at the age of 31, and his younger brother passed, both unfortunately on the eve of what was going to be their sister's wedding. And Gaudreau leaves behind 2 young kids, a daughter and a son. Daughter was to be the flower girl for the wedding, and the son was supposed to be a ring bearer. So I think that regardless of where you're at, it's just important to take note, like, just life is short, and our condolences here at the Majors Detroit go out to the Gaudreau family, and anyone that's affected by this tragic loss, the loss of a brother, a son, a friend, a husband, a father, an uncle, and all that for both. And I think it's when you see the amount of outreach, not just by other teams in the NHL, but teams in general in sport, the Detroit Tigers doing a tribute before the game Friday, it tells you that in their short lives they made an impact, both in the community and the teams that they serve, areas that they serve. So all of our best to the Gaudreau family in this tragic time. And I just honestly hope that, you know, if this isn't an example of what to do or how to, you know, obviously drunk driving is the thing in everything in general, but also people and cyclists. There's too many tragedies of this, and unfortunately it's taken 2 talented people both in the world of sport and, more importantly, their families. And that's what the thing for me on there. So all the best to the Gaudreau family at this time, and just a tragic loss in general in the world of sport. So that's kind of like, wanted to put that out there. You know, and obviously I feel for our people Columbus in the Blue Jackets organization knows playing as well as the Calgary Flames, both with great tributes on their social media feeds as well. So with that, I think it's appropriate to close out this Molding Monday holiday weekend. So we'll basically, I'm hoping to kind of start doing these a little bit more regularly, especially seeing how the Tigers do this week, how the Lions do on their season opener, how Detroit City does in Texas at El Paso on Saturday night, as well Michigan State opening up their season with a win, Michigan opening up their season with a win. So kind of keep everybody in the loop of all what's going on there. But ways you can find out, you can find us on YouTube at the Majors TV, 451 Detroit at 451 Detroit. Twitter, TMSNX Detroit for the Majors Detroit at 451DET, 451. If you want to check out our website here, I never get it right, so I'm always looking at it up just so I can make sure it's right here. That is just 1 second there. Yeah, so that is at themajors.net, and then from there you can check out all of our content, videos, works, YouTube, everything like that. themajors.net/Detroit and the number 2. And yeah, from Garrett here to anyone wherever you're checking this out, if it is on Labor Day or later on, have a great holiday weekend. Hope that all is well. To everybody else, all the best with everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other, and honestly, like, life is short, so you got somebody on their mind, call them. Tell them call them, text them, tell them you love them, tell them, just for these moments, because, I think with the news that came out Friday, that mentioned in our tribute section, it's, you never know when everyone's time's up. So all the best to everybody. Have a great weekend. Keep in touch with everybody soon. Stay tuned for the next time whether it's 451 or Majors Detroit content. And in the meantime, just take care. Be good.